From the European Crafts Alliance, this is Craft Matters, the podcast that explores craft, the artistry, the industry, and the soul of making. And now, here's your host, Adriana.
Human beings have always made things. We shape wood, clay, fiber, metal, and countless other materials. We make objects that solve problems, carry meaning, tell stories, and connect us to the world around us. Yet making is not only about what is produced, the act itself seems to matter. Across Europe, researchers, makers, educators, and healthcare professionals are increasingly asking what happens when people work with their hands. Why does making help some people focus, relax, learn, connect, and even recover? And what does it tell us about what human beings need to live well? In this episode of Craft Matters, we bring together three very different perspectives. Tom Pensari is a Polish woodworker committed to traditional woodworking techniques. After many years working as a lawyer and a CEO, he left that career to start his own workshop, and today his collectible furniture is represented internationally. Cília Macedo is a full-time potter based in Portugal. Before working with ceramics, she was an architect and university researcher. Today, she creates contemporary ceramics pieces that combine refined technique, sustainability, and function for Michelin-star restaurants. And Dr. Sirpa Kokko is a professor of craft science at the University of Eastern Finland and co-author of the European Craft Alliance sectorial study on crafts and well-being. With over 3 decades of experience, her research focuses on how art, crafts, and manual work impact our minds, culture, and society. Together, we ask what happens to the brain when we make, and what we lose when we stop working with our hands. Tom, Cília, Sirpa. Our lives are more and more digital, but many people are going back to making things with their hands. What do you think this is happening now? Sirpa, for example, would you like to start after spending so much time on this research? What are your main thoughts about that?
Yes, thank you. I'm not sure if there is this kind of research even about that people are coming back to working with their hands, but I have some research on that, and of course I have recognized that in many circumstances. I think that they are not completely opposite things. So it's like we can't resist the digitalization, and it's here. But then again, spending all day in digital world is something that it doesn't necessarily do good to people. So because we are human beings, we have a body, we have a mind, we have hands. So we have a kind of an urge to use our body and our hands, and also to create something with our hands. So of course, when we think about very young children, babies, how do they learn about the world? They start touching things, feeling them with their hands.
Absolutely.
So we are not losing this urge to touch, to touch the world and create something on our own, so something visible, concrete.
Yeah, absolutely. Cília, what do you think about that?
I agree with Serpa. I think it's a result probably of many things, but one of them is definitely a reaction to our current times when we're moving further and further away using our hands. So I don't know, it's something very primitive even that we have. It's part of our DNA that we at least I speak for myself. Spending so much time on, sitting at a desk with a computer in front of me, I really felt the need of going back to the basics of making things with my hands, and also it ended up being quite trendy as well. So I blame social media for that. And people, I guess, are discovering new things that they didn't know they could make, they can do, and they're finding out that it's actually quite nice. So yeah.
Okay. What about you, Tom?
It's true, but I observe another one factor. The work we are working in the corporates are more and more abstract and less and less socially beneficial. And people are tired. They don't understand what they work, what for they work are, who is beneficent of this work, and they have big problem, especially in IT sector. I have a lot of programmist IT guys who wants make something with sense, with create something which will be very honest in the is good or not good. They serve or not serve for the people, for me, for my family. And this is another big issue, big factor which force people to make something with their hands.
Well, talking about corporate jobs, Tom, well, you are specialized in that. What did you find in woodworking that you could not find in your old job?
It's a difficult and long questions, but and answer. And for me personally, there are few things. First, my work wasn't estimated in the honest way. It means sometimes it was good, and 2 days later it wasn't good because something changed. And this estimation depend on benefits for narrow group of people. They give the benefits or not give the benefits. And second part is exactly the socially beneficial work. I have big feeling that my work not serve the people. And it was very difficult when I know that this work is not serving the people, and in the end I have to, let's say, lie people.
I think many people will connect with us. Celia, you have an interesting journey as well. Did you feel a personal change when you moved from architecture to clay?
My change wasn't straight from architecture to clay. When I changed my life to be working with clay, I was already an academic, so not a practicing architect. But I think pretty much everything changed in my life. I don't know. I have more control over my time. It's everything. There's a stillness that I have in my life these days that I didn't have before. I don't know if this word makes a lot of sense applied here, but it's very different. Unlike Tom, I liked my job. I think there's nothing wrong. I can't attribute anything negative to it, but I just didn't feel fulfilled enough. And that's what clay and working with clay in almost rural Portugal, that's what it brought me, something very different life.
There are a company who serve for people. Architecture's area is one of the example. You build the buildings, you project the buildings, and they are.
So yes, I think I'll be a researcher forever, regardless of what I do.
Well, that makes sense. That's why we are today talking about research. Nowadays, it's really important to do that. Sirpa, of course, we live a lot of our lives through screens. From your research, what happens to the brain when we make something with our hands? Or could you give us a few examples or explain a little more?
So in this report that we produced from Crafting Health and Wellbeing Connections in Europe, we actually relied on research conducted by other people. But there is proof already that crafting using your hands, all these kind of using your senses with materials, using your creativity, using your problem-solving skills, your cognitive skills when you are working with crafts, definitely has an effect on positive effect on your brain functioning. And in addition to that, how crafting supports brain health is that you have two options or even more, but two kind of extreme sides. You can practice crafts with other people, so this social connection also supports your brain health and brain activities. But then again, also this kind of focusing on crafting and forgetting everything else that is disturbing maybe in your life, some problems or whatever. This kind of emptying your mind from in a way as we use mindfulness or meditation. When you focus on crafting, that's also good for your brain health. So, and that you can do alone, just focusing on your own in peace and quiet on your crafting processes. But there, what has already been found out is that definitely crafting supports your brain functioning and brain health. Also, I mean, among whatever age, but of course Europe is aging, so crafting also supports your memory. I mean, of course you need to remember many things when you are working with crafts. A lot of techniques, a lot of material choices, a lot of how to use tools and equipment, and where do you find them. So, and there's a lot of calculation going on, three-dimensional thinking. So it's a long list actually, but yeah, these kinds of effects.
Tom, Celia, you are the professional makers here. What do you think? Have you experienced some of the effects that Sirpa explained it to us?
Yes. Go
Okay,
ahead.
please.
Celia, starts.
In my case, I throw with the pottery wheel. So in my case, and I can't explain that from a scientific perspective, but what happens to me is that somehow it shuts down the world around me, and this it really happened. It's strange. I don't know how to explain this, but I think because I need to be so focused in what I'm making that it happens automatically. And I don't know, sometimes imagine that I have an entire day of throwing. Time just flies by and I don't even realize that's happening. It's a very interesting side effect of my work. And that's also why I like to do this so much. It has a very calming effect on my life and on my day. And as you know, and Tom probably also feels this, that we run our businesses. So actually, a big percentage of what we do is not, unfortunately, creating.
Yeah.
So
we will talk about that later.
Okay, but yeah, I was just going to say that when I have those weeks of lots of admin or meetings or whatever that I can't be on my wheel, I feel my whole body calling for the wheel again. So it has a very interesting effect on my body and mind.
So at the moment you are practicing, you feel that you more balanced emotionally, for example.
Yes, and I think it's a sort of meditative state.
Yeah.
I don't know. Surely there's research done about this, but that's what happens. And when I started doing pottery as a hobby, it it balanced everything else in my life because it took me to that state when I was going to pottery classes, and like it made everything better.
Tom, what about you? Did working with wood change how you feel in your body and mind?
Yes, I have continuous back pain. Yes, but true, it's changed a lot. I don't think a lot about this, but when I compare my previous life and the craft life, I have to say that I work harder, longer, but time goes slower. And when I work in the corporate, I provide some mainstream life. It means I practice jogging, a lot of sports, and now I don't, unfortunately, jogging, but my vitality dramatically rise. Why? Because my percentage of staying position versus sitting position dramatically rise. It means today I spend in the sitting position 2-3 hours daily. And maybe this is not very big efforts, but my body is still in the high activities. It gives me some unexpected benefits. My vitality rise. I don't notice then I go upstairs and downstairs. I don't notice things that a little bit bother me before. That this is I think big physical benefits. And one things that changed from the physical side is that I start drive very slowly and very calm, very easy. I don't need to hurry up to live in the some stress which force me to make a life fast and faster.
Do you agree, Celia?
Yes, because the effect. I think what Tom is trying to say is that the effect also applies to the other aspects of life. The effect of what we do in our jobs, and I also feel that it's overall life changing, I guess. So that will also happen to apply to the other things.
Going back to something we said earlier, that we are completely consumed by the digital world right now. What do you think? Do you think that part of today's mental health crisis come from this physical disconnect, that we are literally forgetting how to make, fix, and do things with our own hands? Sirpa, what do you think?
Well, that's a difficult question. I can't really say that it is the main reason for all these mental health problems that are actually very serious now in all parts of the world, even in Western world. And but maybe there is a connection, yeah. Because how I see this digitalization is that it's also bringing many good things, even for crafters. So it has provided means to connect to other crafters from other parts of the country or the world, learn from each other, and share ideas, share kind of skills and knowledge. So I think craft people have found out a good way to utilize these online and digital methods. But of course, if there is a person who is only living in digital world, it is as I already commented that then there's too much focus on brain and watching the screen instead of using all the possibilities that we have when we have our body and hands and possibility to connect to material world and also to use our body and hands in a creative way.
Absolutely. Tom, I would like to go back to something Sipa said earlier about quality of life and the idea of choosing quality of life over money. Is that something you also feel in your own work?
Yes, I think the main thing I decided with my wife, we decided that to change our life, completely change our life, is to redefinition of word quality of life, and we base our quality of life not on the physical goods, but we base our thinking about the quality of life on the some way of providing the life. We want to make something valuable, to achieve something in our area, and maybe not completely, but we decided to concentrate and be honest to our way. And this is, I think, the main factor that allow us to keep our way and to resist all of crisis we have during our way. And we say that we provide very luxury way life, luxury based not on money, luxury based on quality of doing what we want to doing without any limitations. One of the main things that force me forward is my children, which says my father is the one of the famous carpenter and one of the famous furniture designer, and they are very, very proud of me.
That makes a lot of sense. I would like to introduce not a new topic, but a new aspects. That is workshops. Do you think that workshops give people a sense of community that is missing in modern life? What do you think, Sirpa?
Definitely, workshops offer a great possibility to connect with people who are interested in similar activities or learning similar activities. Often, in workshops, there's this teaching aspect. So you go to a workshop to learn something new or to share what you know. So there's this sharing aspect, learning about new crafting methods and skills, but also learning to know other people and their background. So this social connection is also very, very important in the workshops. So there's a lot of benefits of craft workshops, and I'm glad that they are available in many parts of the world. And they are really popular, especially here in Finland, where I live. So we have a lot of, and people go there. They are interested in learning new things, connecting to other people, sharing, yeah. So definitely, it's a good way to build communities and support communities.
Yeah, as Celia said before, the workshops maybe they become very popular thanks to social media. What do you think, Celia, about the workshops?
Workshops are so popular at the moment, and it's in all kinds of crafts. But pottery workshops, I sometimes talking to my potter friends, we say that pottery studios now grow as mushrooms all over the country. They're literally all over the country. And these are studios that have a business model which relies almost 100% on running workshops. So not so much on the production side, but more on the teaching and bringing community together through their workshops. And I think that's great because it also takes people away from screens and from all the other things that um, take their time. It is an excellent way to build community. It's also a very good way of learning about the craft, even if it's just to make something that doesn't really have to be super well made technically, but it's just good time. But it's also a very good place to possibly start a serious craft career in crafts.
Mm.
That's how I found pottery, was through a pottery workshop. So it's not going to happen to everyone that goes to workshops, but at least they also have that first tier level of entering this life, maybe. So yes, these just one last thing. Before, most, at least in pottery, this was not available at all. So you'd have those old school potteries where the master potters would produce their work, but the general public, they wouldn't have access to this. So it's good that it's now available to everyone. Very
Yeah.
positive, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's easier today. And it's true that when you try sometimes crafts, then your life completely change. Well, what do you think, Tom, about workshops? I don't know if you offer workshops or.
The workshop is some kind of the therapy. I agree with you, and I want to add that the community are very, very beneficial, but community based on the honest conditions.
Of course, we are seeing that craft can help people to feel better, but many professional makers struggle financially and feel exhausted. Do you think that can craft still feel healing when it becomes your job? What do you think, Tom, for example?
I try to not complain for my life and additional things I have to make. But if you really like it, love it, you overcome these problems. But yes, 1 hour daily I spend next to the computer and make the book account, pay the bills and something like that. It's true, but I think it is part of our life. I still think what I will do next day, and this force me forward.
What about you, Celia?
Well, if you only spend 1 hour a day doing that, that's really good.
I have wife,
yeah,
which takes marketing and other
yeah.
activities. It's true.
For me, I think there's a forgiveness factor associated with our profession as crafts professionals, that we take this on, and at least, well, I can speak for myself. I said that I'm not going to complain because I love what I do. But when I made the shift from a hobby, from doing pottery as a hobby to a professional activity, I think I went into it very naively. Now looking back, I can see that because I had no idea of all the bureaucratic things that were involved into running your own business. And this is not related to craft necessarily. This happens to everyone that has to run a business. And especially when it's just you yourself doing a one-woman show, one-man show, that you have to do every single thing by yourself. It is very, very challenging. I'm not going to say difficult. It's just very challenging. So, and it's a learn as you make kind of thing. And I don't know about Poland, but Portugal is a very bureaucratic country. So that makes the framework, makes everything worse. And adding to that, the fact that you have to do your own marketing work. I spend 3 hours a day on my social media.
Yeah.
I have to apologize you and my wife, especially because she spent a lot of time and support me in our business. But it's true. I think the big issue is that today environment changed dramatically. 100 years ago, the carpenter, pottery maker sell goods in the neighborhood. This time finished. We now forced to sell goods whole the world. And the problem is that we have to take care about the marketing, social media, and keep our business. Without that, the possibility of make business from the passion is not possible.
Yeah, and creating is a very small part of the job right now, at least for me. I really wish that I had someone taking care of all of this for me, so that I could just sit and create all day. That's not the case at all. And that's why I say that I went into this very naively, because I didn't know what. But once I realized how to make things, I said that's okay because I love my job.
Yeah.
But you do see a lot of burnout in crafts professionals, a lot.
Yeah.
And this is not easy to deal with because most of us we don't really communicate that much with other craft professionals because we're alone in our business. So it's important from time to time, if you have your friends who are also craft professionals, that just to check in from time to time and asking, are you okay? Is everything going well? Do you need help with anything? Do you want to have a chat?
Yeah.
I think that's helped, but there is a lot of burnout, which I think is not talked enough.
Maybe we romanticize a little bit to be a craft person, and it would be good or useful to know more about this business model before it. Sirpa, would you like to add something about that?
Yes, definitely. Professional crafters need support in many ways, and because first they are doing a valuable job, not only just for themselves but also for us to keep up the valuable craft traditions and understanding of the cultural issues behind them. So we need to strengthen support to them in many ways, like financial, professional, networking opportunities, also support to this physical well-being aspect, safety practices, and so on. So, and also because many professional crafters actually offer these workshops that we discussed earlier. So I find this workshop or any other kind of craft education also important for people to get their embodied understanding of what is crafting about. So, I mean, that's also helping them to realize all the skills and efforts that are required for producing a crafted product, and also opens their eyes on seeing the difference in qualities. Because if you don't have any understanding of crafting yourself, you have never been doing any crafting yourself, you might not see even the difference in factory made and handmade product, or what is a good quality handmade product. And through that also there's this it raises appreciation towards crafts, and of course then maybe also supports this financial aspect of craft professionals, because then people actually know when they buy something, they buy some crafted item, they know that value, they can value that from also based on their own even small experience on that.
At this point of your journey, Tom and Celia, do you feel that you have found the balance, more or less, about production, finances, marketing, and private life, or you are still learning how to do it?
If I can start, I think for me it's a work in progress. My project is not just over 5 years. The first 3 years were very challenging in that sense. I was working too many hours, and I didn't have room in my life for anything else. Now I think things are getting better. I finally joined. So I joined a choir. So that's my hobby now. Uh, it's something that I really needed to have in this life, so that craft wouldn't take over my life completely. Because it's when you're working for your own boss, it's very difficult to stop and to say, okay, I'm going to close the studio, I'm going to go home, because you can just carry on forever. Financially, I think it's also a work in progress. It's my full-time job, as I mentioned, so this is what pays all my bills. But it's been very challenging since the beginning. But I think I'm very positive about my professional future and the professional of the craft as well. But I do think that there's still quite a lot of things that I need to learn from the business side of things. Oh, yeah, that's it, from the business side of things. But I'm getting there.
Yeah, to be a businesswoman is always challenging.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
What about you, Tom?
Our changing process is that realize that quality of life is not goods you can buy as for 100 euro. It's a value which you must work on it still. And like on passion, I always thought to my apprentice that only one way you can survive and go through the life traps is passion and love to your crafts. But passion and love you have to still take care on, and every day you have to keep yourself to keep your passion and take care on about it. And yes, I think now we are still we are in balance. We reach this balance, but we still work on this, and it's not easy way, of course, because life gives you a lot of traps. I'm very happy that my children, I have 5 children, spend a lot of time with me. They came to me and spent in my workshops many times. And my workshop is some place when people meet together, and this very nice thing I have, and privilege that I think this is this value balance which we have, but we take care very much with my wife and my family to keep them in the high level.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's true that you have a really nice workshop. We have seen it the other day. So this is an amazing place to work. So before we finish, I would like to ask you one final question. It's like a big one, but I think it brings together many of the ideas that we have discussed today. What do human beings lose when they stop making things with their hands? What do you think, Sirpa? Would you like to start?
Yeah, that's a big question. Of course, then we lose contact to the material world and also natural world. I mean, where do the materials come from? They come from what we call nature. Of course, we now understand. We now understand more and more that we are part of the nature. But the nature, as we have been thinking, refers to forests and yards and fields and rivers and lakes. So materials come from there, and also tools and equipment. They are nature based, material based. So we lose connection to nature actually if we lose connection to making. And also, of course, we lose connection to ourselves because, as we have been discussing, making, in our case, we are talking about crafting. Crafting actually is a way to connect to yourself, to your culture, to your family, your relatives, your ancestors, and also to your inner self. So there's this, we lose connections. We lose connection to ourselves, to the global world, to other people, and also nature. So that sounds very terrifying. So I hope many people find their way back to crafting, as they are doing actually.
Absolutely. What about you, Celia?
Totally agree with Sarpa. There's this whole aspect of culture and traditions that will be lost if people stop doing this. Many of these crafts, they've been present in our societies for hundreds, thousands of years. And if we stop making them, it's just losing a big part of our history, of our culture. There's also this thing that if we understand the processes of making things, I think we value them more. If we stop making things ourselves, just things, they become less important for us as well. We lose community, connections, exactly as Serpa was saying. And then a lot of things, something else which is very practical, very physical, motor skills.
Yeah.
I read something the other day that really frightened me, that apparently tennis shoes, are being made with less and less with shoelaces, because kids especially, they're losing the ability to tie shoelaces.
Wow.
That is so frightening. How do we get to this? So craft helps us with this, with the older generations, the younger generations. So it's really imperative that we don't lose this.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Tom?
I think to add something valuable, people lose the agency in the world when they are forced or moved to the virtual world. They lose connection with the real world, and the handmaids give them sense of the agency and sense of feeling needed. I think I observe on my workshops that they are very proud. They build something needed for my house, my wife. Sometimes they came with partner list, wish list, and the sense of being needed is very, very common and very important for them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think. Sorry, please add.
I was just going to, following what Tom said, craft making is very empowering.
Hmm.
And these conversations that we're having are going to be more and more important, especially because of what AI is doing to almost all jobs. So yeah, these skills will be so much more important in years to come.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What do you think? Sorry, Tom, about the AI. It's nice to
Yes, I
talk.
want to add that in 10 years, the human touch feature will be one of the most valuable tools. Human touch
Not even
furniture.
10 years. Not even 10
Yes.
years. Yeah.
Tom, Celia, Sirpa, thank you for joining us. Craft is often discussed through the lens of culture, heritage, education, or the economy. And each of these areas is important. But this conversation suggests something else as well. Making is not only about producing objects, it is also one of the ways we experience the world, through touch, through materials, through repetition, and through attention. We understand the world through our minds, but also through our hands. And perhaps this is why the simple act of shaping a piece of wood, clay, fiber, or metal can help us feel more connected to our surroundings, to other people, and to ourselves. If you would like to learn more about the ECA's Crafting Health and Wellbeing Report, our guests, and the ECA Annual Conference 2026, you'll find links in the episode notes.
You've been listening to Craft Matters, brought to you by the European Crafts Alliance. This podcast is part of the CraftsNet project, co-funded by the European Union. New episodes drop on the last Wednesday of every month. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite platform. Follow us on social media or subscribe to our newsletter at europeancraftsalliance.org. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.